I was just restless. Like I couldn't sleep. I was tired. I was just getting defeated. Like that weight was taking a toll on my body, because clearly I was pregnant. I had a big ass belly, like, and this is where shit get real. Like this. What's up? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing the labor and delivery story time. Y'all, this video is going to be a lengthy one because I had to write down piece by piece exactly like what went down so that I don't forget. And y'all, in my notes, it's literally, can y'all see? It's still trying to focus on my face. Like, it's literally so freaking long. Like, oh my god, this is going to be a lengthy one. But anyway, if you're new here, I'm Zoia. Subscribe to my channel because why not? I mean, like, support. Literally, you're watching, just go ahead and subscribe, like this video while you're at it, because I'm going to be having some lit content videos coming for y'all soon. And yeah, I think this will be my first story time, I believe. Yeah, this will be my first story time. So let me get right into what went down. So let me see, maybe a week before I went into labor, I went to the nail shop. I just have to say this first before I really get like deep into it. I went to the nail shop and I was getting a pedicure, and that's like a week before I went into labor is when I initially first started having contractions, or like felt my first real contraction, because I probably had been contracting before, but I didn't honestly know what it had felt like. But when I went to the nail shop, I really felt that pain. Like, it just felt like a whole bunch of buzzing in my back. Like, this is me trying to explain what contractions really feel like. It feels like period cramps, but then like your lower back like cramps as well. And it's like cramping for a period of time and then it go away. Then it cramp intense back up and then it go away. It's like your stomach gets super tight, your back, you have cramps, your front part, you have cramps. It's just like all around your waist part is just freaking cramps, and your stomach gets so tight, but then it releases, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I was having contractions there. Fast forward to 24 hours before I self-admitted myself to the hospital, which is, I would call it, well, I think it is called the pre-labor phase. And during pre-labor, I'm looking at my notes, during pre-labor I was having mild contractions from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. So this was like 24 hours before, so on a Monday. So on September, no, it was August, what was the last day in August? I don't know, but I just know it was the last, yeah, that last day in August 31st. It was a Monday because my due date was the very next day. I had a doctor's appointment. This was my last doctor's appointment before I gave birth to Zia. And 24 hours before, I had contractions from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. I would say they were mild contractions, but some of the contractions were kind of strong. And I was just like on my nursing ball the whole time. And I was in my bed, face down, my butt up, like trying to like relieve the pain of the contractions. Because this whole time I'm having contractions, Johnnie is asleep. Like, he stayed up for me probably till like 12 to 1. But then his butt went to sleep. Like, I had woke up at one point, they had started getting real bad. And I was like, babe, can we please go to the hospital? And he was like, no, not yet. Like, keep like pre-laboring at home or whatever. And I was just like, okay. So around 5 o'clock, and that's like the time he gets up for work, that's the time my contractions stopped. So I just went back to sleep at 5, and then I woke up around 7 so that I could get ready for my doctor's appointment. So I went to the doctor on my due date, still pregnant. And she was just like, well, yeah, you'll be having the baby either today or tomorrow, or she was like, honestly, if the contractions start back, because I was talking to her and telling her that I had been having contractions, and her is my doctor. I was telling my doctor that I had been having contractions the day before, like from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. and she was like, oh, that's good. So honestly, if you start, because my plan for when I went to the doctor that day was for her to schedule me an induction, but she didn't want to schedule me an induction. She just said that she knew that I would probably be going into labor on my own pretty soon, so she didn't schedule me an induction. She just said if the contractions start to get back, like if they start back and they get stronger and closer together, then just go ahead and head to the hospital, because they're just going to admit me anyway. So I left the doctor. I came home. Johnnie left work early because I had told him what the doctor said, so he wanted to leave work early. He went and got us some Waffle House. We ate the Waffle House, and during the time I was eating the Waffle House, I was looking up stuff that would induce my labor. I seen on there that a lot of people, and I also asked people on Facebook and Instagram as well, and a lot of people were saying castor oil, a lot of people were saying eat spicy stuff, a lot of people were saying have sex. So out of all those things, y'all know what Johnnie wanted to do to try to induce my labor, and it worked. Like, sex sent me to the, I'm just playing, it did send me to the ER. I was just about to say sex sent me to the ER, but it did. Having contractions, of course. But so I started having contractions after we did all of that. So then I took a shower and I tried to take a nap. I really couldn't take a nap because I was contracting, and if y'all hear some in my background, my sister is in the living room watching TV super freaking loud, so just ignore her. I'm gonna try to talk over it. But anyway, yeah, so that happened. So I started having contractions. I tried to take a nap, couldn't take a nap because my contractions were starting to like get more stronger. They was actually getting real intense, so I couldn't take a nap. But then I tried anyway. I just tried to lay down and relax. So around 6 p.m. I woke Johnnie up and I told him it's time for us to go to the hospital, because y'all, at this point I'm 40 weeks pregnant. Like, I'm well at my due date. She's fully baked, she's ready to come out, and I did not want to be the pregnant girl this 42 weeks pregnant, 43 weeks pregnant, 45 weeks pregnant, and still pregnant. Like, no, I didn't like that. And my doctor wasn't trying to schedule me an induction either, y'all. That at that point in my pregnancy, it was just, I was miserable. Every time I walked, it hurt. My stomach was heavy, so it made me have like a little more stretch marks than what I had before. I was just restless. Like, I couldn't sleep. I was tired. I was just getting defeated. Like, that weight was taking a toll on my body. My legs was hurting, my ankles was hurting, my feet was swelling. Like, it was just a lot. So I was ready to give birth and see her. Like, I was ready. So I woke him up. I told him, we gotta go to the hospital. So he got up, we got dressed, make sure he had everything in his bags, in his bag and my bag as well, and Zia's bag. So he took all of that to the car. So I got dressed. I literally just kept on my nightgown shirt and just put some sweats on up under it, and that's how I went to the hospital. Now, my water did not break, but I was having contractions, so I just went ahead and went to the hospital without my water breaking. I just wanted to mention that as well. We in the car at this point on the way to the hospital, but before we go to the hospital, I asked Johnnie to go to Chick-fil-A so that I can get me some food from Chick-fil-A, because you know, once you get to the hospital, it's over with. You ain't drinking nothing but ice. I mean, you ain't eating nothing but ice, drinking juices and stuff like that. No food at all, no solid food. So I had to eat before I went there. So I ate, and the whole car ride, I'm having contractions. My contractions probably like 2 or 3 minutes apart. Like, they was getting strong. I'm in the Chick-fil-A line ordering. If y'all watch my the labor and delivery video part 1, y'all would see I was having contractions in the car while ordering my food, all that. Get to the hospital, I signed out the paper. They pretty much already had all my information in because I had pre-registered for labor. So they had all my information. We sat in the waiting room for a minute. The nurse called us back. Well, she called me back because I had to take a urine sample. And y'all, what is the point of taking the urine sample? Like, I think she made me take a urine sample, but just so she can see if I had like anything in my urine, not so much like checking to make sure I'm pregnant, because clearly I was pregnant. I had a big ass belly. Like, why would I be coming in here trying to fake like I'm pregnant? Anyway, took a urine sample. And then she took me to triage, and in triage I got undressed, put on a gown. She went and got Johnnie, so Johnnie helped me put on the gown. She hooked me up to a baby monitor so they can monitor her heartbeat and as well as the contractions. I didn't have an IV at this point, but they did check my blood pressure, and they did, what else did she do? I think my temperature, and what else, whatever they do with your finger. I think they check like your pulse or like your, I don't know what they check for with the finger thing, but they did all that. So the doctor came in. She said she was going to monitor me for an hour to see if my contractions got worse or if they got a little, like if they separate, like if they got closer together or they were spreading out further apart, and that would just determine whether I was in active labor or not. Anyway, the hour passed by. She come in, she's like, oh, we're admitting you because you're in active labor, like you've had a lot of contractions since you've been here, so we're just gonna go ahead and admit you. So the nurse came in, started me an IV, which still freaking hurts to this day, because you have to have it like the whole time you in labor, and laying your hand you're just moving your hand. So it made my wrist really sore, and my wrist is still sore because she put it like right here in this area, but it's still sore. But anyway, put the IV in, get all of that started. She bring a wheelchair, wheel me to the labor and delivery floor. So we go to we're in labor and delivery now, and we're getting settled. We get a nurse, all of that. And this is where shit get real. Like, this is the shit that I was like, whew. Okay, I'm back now. My camera had to cool down for a while, which is so freaking stupid because this is my newer camera, so I don't understand how it overheats so freaking fast. But anyway, like I was saying, this is the part where shit gets real. So we in labor, and we get settled into labor and delivery. The nurse comes to hook me up to a blood pressure cuff, the baby monitor on my belly again. I get IV fluids, and then I also had to get penicillin. I had to get penicillin through my IV every 4 hours because I tested positive for the strep B test. Basically, it's like a strep infection that you, like, it's a type of bacteria or something they check to see if you're positive for, because it can give your baby a bad infection. So it didn't give Zia an infection. They had to give me penicillin through my IV. It wasn't nothing bad or anything like that. It's literally just, I think it's like a strep like the same thing as strep throat, because I do get strep throat a lot, like during the winter months. So I believe that's where it came from. And just so I guess Zia didn't get the infection, they went ahead and gave me penicillin. Now keep in mind, while all of this is going on, I'm steady having contractions. So I'm hooked up to a blood pressure cuff. I have an IV in my arm. I have the baby monitor on. You have on this gown, and you're sitting in an uncomfortable or laying in an uncomfortable ass hospital bed. Like, oh my god, that is like the worst. So the nurse left. Johnnie went to go get our bags out of the car, and at this point we're just chilling. She came and brought me some ice water. She brought me some water as well, and then we just get settled in and we go to sleep. Like, we chill. Well, I try to like go to sleep, get some rest. Johnnie's making his little palette on the pull-out couch, or the couch they had for him to sleep on. So through the night, I couldn't really sleep like that because I was having contractions like all freaking night. Like I kept trying to lay on my side or either one of my sides to get comfortable, still couldn't get comfortable. Then the nurse had to come in and keep checking the baby monitor, moving it around, because as Zia moved, the baby monitor had to be moved, because like if it was on my left side, she was on the right, it would have to move to the right. If she was on the left side, like it was just so much. If she was high, if she was low, like literally couldn't get no sleep for real. Like I tried hard, but I couldn't get no sleep through the night. So now it's the morning time and I'm switching nurses. And yeah, I switched nurses because that was my nighttime nurse. Now it's the morning time nurse. And also, this is just what I wanted to say before I get into my next thing. I just feel like they really set you up to be stiff and make the experience way more painful, because they make the experience way more painful than what it really has to be, because they don't tell you to get up, they don't tell you to move around, they don't tell you to get up, try to do some squats to get the labor going, to get you contracting so that your cervix can open up more. They just literally hook you up to all this shit and have you laying in a hospital bed for hours, no movement, no nothing. Like that was the worst part for me, and that's also part of the reason I wanted to have a midwife so freaking bad, but we waited too late and I couldn't get a midwife because they just, well, not a midwife but a doula. I think a midwife and doula is basically the same thing, but I really wanted a doula, and if I have a child for the second time, I'm definitely getting a doula. Jesus. But yeah, like, they just set you up to just be stiff and have the shit more painful and make you get an epidural. Like I feel like I wouldn't have gotten an epidural if I just wasn't laying there so stiff and uncomfortable, and every time I had a contraction it was just so freaking stiff and uncomfortable. I was just so stiff and uncomfortable. Like if you're watching this and you went through this whole labor and delivering process, just comment down below. Like I just want to be real with you guys. Like was it comfortable to you? Like that was not a comfortable experience at all. Like that shit was not comfortable. I mean that, yeah, it wasn't comfortable at all. But I just had to say that. Anyway, we made it through the night and I got my cervix checked at 6 a.m. and I had finally dilated to only 4 centimeters. I think that was like a whole 6, 7, 8 hours, and I had only dilated to 4 centimeters. And keep in mind, when I had went to the doctor that day, I was 3.5, so really I had only dilated a half of a centimeter to make it to 4. So I wasn't making no progress, laying in the bed, being stiff, hooked up to all these goddamn cords. I wasn't making no progress. So the morning nurse comes and tells me that my doctor doesn't work on Wednesdays, so she wouldn't be the one delivering my baby. Bomber. And that honestly still has me kind of pissed to this day, because I seen my doctor on my due date that morning and she had told me that I will either go in labor tonight or the next day. I feel like if you knew that you don't work on Wednesdays and you know that your patient that you've been seeing a whole 40 weeks may go into labor the next day, why wouldn't you just tell me at my doctor's appointment that day that you wasn't gonna be the one delivering my baby and that it would be a different person from the same practice? Don't get me wrong. So she knew the doctor, this was someone she was comfortable with having deliver your patient's baby. But if you knew you wasn't gonna be there to deliver my baby, why wouldn't you just tell me that you wasn't gonna be there, huh? And you had seen me that morning. Like, that's the part that still got me kind of pissed about that. But it's whatever, because I loved my doctor that delivers, the doctor that delivers Zia. Like, I'm actually going to switch who I was going to her to be my new OBGYN, because I literally loved her. She was so patient, she was so calm, she explained everything thoroughly, she asked me questions. I just love doctors who act like they care so much about you. Like, I don't like even if they're a different race. I am gonna say this on my channel, like, I'm not a racist person. I don't have no issues or anything towards Caucasian people. I love them to death. I even had some Caucasian friends. But anyway, I just felt like she was gentle and like she just really cared a lot, like cared a little bit more than my doctor. And this, like, that part I love the most. So the doctor came in, the doctor that's going to be delivering Zia. I had never saw her before, but she came in and she was super nice. And immediately I felt that she had a great vibe. Me and Johnnie, we both felt that she had a great vibe, so I was comfortable with her again. But at first I was kind of like uptight because I was like, oh my god, this is a doctor I had never seen. This doctor is going to be delivering my baby. I haven't been seeing her the whole 4 weeks or whatever. But she came in, instantly got a great vibe from her, and I was comfortable. She checked my cervix and confirmed how many centimeters I was, which was just 4. And she also told me that she didn't believe that I was in active labor last night, like the nurse in Triage had told me. So either I can get my water broke at this point, or I can just, they're just gonna send me home, basically. This is what she's telling me. And I'm telling her, I'm like, look, I'm 40 weeks 1 day now, because it's the next day. Like, I'm over pregnancy at this point. I'm not going home, so y'all gonna have to do something that's gonna keep me in this hospital. So she said, okay, well, we're just gonna break your water. And I told her, okay, that's fine, just go ahead and break my water. So I'm laying there getting my water broke. She sticked the little long ass fishing pole thing up my thing. Y'all, we just get, ladies, like, we deal with so much. We deal with so much. Oh my god. But she stuck the thing up there, popped the bag in. I'm waiting for this big old whoosh. I also waited for it to hurt. It didn't hurt. I heard a lot of people saying like, oh yeah, it hurt when they break your water. Like, my own mom even told me that, and it didn't even hurt. But they stuck the thing in there. She popped the bag, and she's like, everybody waiting for the gush. And she's like, it's only like a little drizzly. So she go back in there again and pop it again. And y'all, literally no fluid is coming out. All of my fluid had leaked out through the weeks because my mucus plug came out so soon that, and I didn't even know my mucus plug came out. I do remember wiping one time and it was just like this mucusy discharge coming from my butt. I mean, not my butt, but coming from down there. TMI, I know, but whatever. This is a freaking labor story time. If you knew what you was getting into when you clicked on this video. But I do remember the time that happened, so I'm thinking that was my mucus plug coming out. And if that what was it, that happened like 4 weeks before my due date even. Like, that happened way before. So during those whole weeks that my mucus plug came out, I was just like slowly leaking fluid. So now I'm in what they call dry labor. I'm having a dry labor because I have no amniotic fluid for real down there for her to, like, I literally probably had just a little amniotic fluid. So I was in dry labor. I was having a dry labor, and that's nothing to really be alarmed about. It's just you don't have no fluid, basically. And I didn't really get her to explain it that much, but from what I got out of it is that I really didn't have no fluid in the sac. So it was just minimum fluid in the sac. You know how you're supposed to have like a lot to like gushing out? I had none. It was just like a little sprinkle, and like when I stood up is where I felt it a little bit more, but I was supposed to have way more fluid than what I had felt, which wasn't a big deal. So I really didn't worry myself about it too much. But of course, something always got to be different with me. I'm having a dry labor. Whatever. Hours go by and my contractions start getting strong as hell because she had broke my water. And honestly, breathing through the contractions and like just focusing on one thing, closing your eye, holding someone's hand is probably the best advice I can give to you guys. If you're pregnant right now and you plan on having, your plans are to have your baby pretty soon, the best way to get through contractions is breathing through them. And I don't mean, I think I explained this in another one of my videos, but I don't mean like no like, because that's not gonna help you. I'm talking about like as you're having the contraction, like breathing in, letting it out through your mouth, breathing in, letting it out through your mouth and like just going slow and gentle and being like literally breathing through the contractions. It helped so much. It helped me deal with them so much, because I wasn't the one who was like, I'm having a contraction. I just felt like that wasn't effective enough to be dealing with some painful ass shit like some contractions. So I kept breathing as the hours went on. After I got my water broke and my contractions are getting even more stronger, and I'm just breathing and breathing, dealing with them. And Johnnie turned on a movie. We watched a movie while I'm having these contractions. And then y'all, I just completely got irritated because, like I was telling y'all, this morning nurse who came and delivered the bad news about how my doctor don't work on Wednesdays and another doctor would be coming in. Yeah, she came and delivered that news. But after I had got my water broke, like maybe 3 hours went by. 4 hours went by. Y'all, do y'all know she did not come in not one time to check on me? Like, the only time she came in was to check the baby monitor, to see what my blood pressure was, to see how I'm doing as far as my contractions. And then she'll say, you okay? She wouldn't say like, oh, you need some more water? Oh, you want some ice? Oh, you want a popsicle? Oh, you want some chicken broth? Oh, you want juice, cranberry juice, grape juice, apple juice? Like, she didn't ask nothing. She didn't ask me anything. So I got irritated. Johnnie got irritated. And as I was getting irritated, I think it just made matters worse with me having contractions. So I just got so irritated and my contractions got stronger and I couldn't deal with them no more because I'm like dehydrated, irritated. Y'all, I don't know. I was just hella irritated. So we called, Johnnie called the nurse in and I asked her if I could have some water. And at the time that we called the nurse in, my doctor came in, because at this point it's like 4 hours past the time she had broke my water. She came in, checked my cervix again, and I was at 5 centimeters, halfway there, woo, woo, woo. But she was like, I'm just not progressing fast enough for her, being that she had broke my water. So y'all, as I'm having a contraction and she's in there checking my cervix, why this lady done stretch my cervix to 6 centimeters from her hand? Now why would you do that? Why would you stretch my cervix to another centimeter while I'm having a contraction? That shit was the most painful thing ever. And it made matters even worse because after she did that, y'all, as soon as she walked out the door, my contractions were getting stronger and stronger, back to back. They was probably like 2 minutes apart at this point. So every time I'm coming back from a contraction, I'm having another one, breathing again, coming back from a contraction, coming back, having another. Like, they were so, like, at this point, I think they were like a minute apart. We really wasn't timing like that, but they kept coming stronger, back to back, back to back, back to back. And I'm like, oh, babe, I can't. Like, I was just like getting so tense. And y'all, all of this is happening. I'm still laying in the bed. Like, I had to ask the nurse. I was like, can I get up, move around? Can I be on the IV monitor that's not hooked up to the wall? Like, can I get moving? Because I'm getting stiff and this is not helping me at all. So they finally said yes. So I'm walking around a little bit, but I couldn't walk like in the hallway or nothing. I could literally just walk in my room, around my bed, up, swaying back and forth, squatting a little, like just trying to ease the pain a little bit, because that shit hurt when you just laying there not doing anything, like you're not able to do nothing. So I'm up walking around, the contractions getting worse. So I lay back down to see if standing up would have helped, but it didn't. They were still hurting, y'all. At this point, I couldn't take them no more. So I told Johnnie, I'm like, go get the nurse. Like, do not press this button. Do not wait for her to walk. What are you barking for? Because you just scared me. Anyway, at this point, I told Johnnie, don't press that button. Like, literally go outside to get the nurse, because I need an epidural. I'm sorry, but y'all, I needed a freaking epidural. And but before I got the epidural, I got my cervix checked one more time, and I had made it to 7 centimeters, which was why I kept having those contractions back to back like that. So remember, she stretched me to 6, and then I made it to 7 on my own. But once I made it to 7 is when I couldn't take it no more. I got the epidural. They gave me the epidural, which that didn't hurt either. I got in this crazy ass side position, ready, like holding Johnnie, holding the pillow, like getting prepared, like I'm about to feel the worst pain in the world. That shit didn't hurt at all. Getting the epidural didn't hurt either. And I seen people saying that hurted. That didn't hurt either. But I feel like, I mean, how can it really hurt when you really getting poked and stabbed and all this the whole time you're pregnant? Like, you getting blood drawn, you getting shots for this, shots for that, shots for the baby, shots for whooping cough, shots for, like, you just get so much stuff. It's just like, at this point, like, I can take anything. And I'm really not scared of needles anyway, so I guess that's why it really didn't hurt me either. But yeah, so I get the epidural, and after I got the epidural, Johnnie complained to another nurse and told her, like, the nurse we had wasn't doing her job. She didn't give us no water, she didn't give me no ice, she didn't give anything. Like, she really wasn't taking care of me for real. So another nurse came in, y'all. She brought me so much stuff. Like, she even made me like this little cocktail drink. She was like, yeah girl, I mixed some cranberry juice and some apple juice and some ice. Like, she made me like a little cocktail without the alcohol, of course. She brought me some popsicles. She didn't bring me just one popsicle. She brought me banana flavor, grape flavor, cherry flavor. Like, she brought me all the popsicles. She brought me some crackers. I mean, not no crackers. She brought me some, what did she bring me? Oh, Italian ice thing, like the little Italian freeze cup things. She brought me some ice and she brought me some water. Like, she brought me all of this stuff in the whole day. Like, literally from an 9 a.m. in the morning to like 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. that day, I hadn't had no fresh water, no liquids, no nothing. Like, I was still drinking on and eating on the ice I had from my night nurse from like at 4 or 5 in the morning. Like, that's messed up. So after that happened, we got a new nurse because I complained, Johnnie complained, everybody was complaining because she literally sucked. Oh, once you get the epidural, like, it instantly numbed my pain. Like, I literally felt nothing. Like, I couldn't feel no contractions, I couldn't feel my legs, I couldn't even get up at this point. So once you get the epidural, you can't get up to pee or do anything like that. They don't let you do anything, because if you get up, your ass gonna fall because your legs are numb and you can't feel them. So yeah, everything from the waist down, I didn't feel anything, and I literally felt like I was floating on a cloud, probably because I was so damn high off the medication. So me and Johnnie just chilled. I'm eating my popsicles, drinking my little cranberry cocktail. We watching Bad Boys. I'm just living a life. So it's what, 8 p.m. at this point, fast forwarding to 8 p.m. Yeah, I had took a nap, we watched some movies, we was eating popsicles, and then another nurse came in because the new nurse I had got, she left, so I got a new nurse, and that nurse had made me some chicken broth. She was like, girl, I make the best chicken broth on this floor because everybody don't put salt and pepper in it. So I'm drinking chicken broth. Just living my best life in labor at this point. Like, I'm not feeling no pain, everything just going good. During the time, like, I was chilling, we was chilling or whatever, and I was taking a nap. I was laying on my side, and the baby monitor, it kept moving because Zia was kicking it and she was trying to get it off her. But the nurse came in, she kind of scared us a little. And she scared us a little when she came to check my cervix. She scared us a little because she was like, her heart rate is going up and down. Like, it keeps dropping really low and then it'll get up and then it'll drop really low. She was like, let me fix the monitor because your doctor, like the doctor that was delivering Zia, she was in a, like, getting prepared for a emergency C-section, and she was like, I don't want you to be next. This is what the nurse is telling me. I don't want you to be next, so let me go ahead and fix this baby monitor to make sure everything is going okay with baby. So, like, basically she's telling me, like, you may have to get an emergency C-section because her heart rate is dropping really low. And that shit just made me instantly just start crying, because I'm like, I have to get a C-section. Like, I wasn't against anything during my pregnancy because I didn't know what was gonna happen during labor and delivery, because if any situation is life or death, like, yeah, I'm gonna get a C-section to have my child. Like, only thing I was scared about was like, dang, I didn't prepare myself to get no C-section. Like, I was ready for anything, and I was like ready for anything, but I didn't, like, my mind didn't go to like possibly having a C-section. So that like tore me into pieces. Like, I was on the phone with Johnny's mom, and I just like broke down. I could see it in his eyes, he was kind of worried too, because he's like what's going on? Like, is she okay? Everything okay? But anyway, everything ended up being okay. I just didn't like the fact that she spoke on something that really didn't even have to happen. Only thing that was going on was that the monitor kept moving around, and that's because he kept kicking it off. But she was perfectly fine. Her heart rate was perfectly fine. She was just in there getting busy from the popsicles, I guess. So, like I said, when she checked my cervix at 8, I was freaking 9 centimeters. And now I was nervous at this point, because I was like, oh, it's starting to get serious. So, while I'm waiting that time to get like fully dilated or whatever, the nurse is coming in and basically like just preparing everything for once I really do like start to push and I'm about to have her. And I don't know, like instantly I just started feeling nauseous. Like, I don't know if it was the medicine, it was the IV, it was the penicillin, or if it was like all this like all the liquids and fluids that I had been drinking all day. Just like, because I was drinking so much sweet stuff, eating popsicles, eating Italian ice, and this is like all that I could literally have. And then putting the chicken broth on top of that, I had started getting nauseous. And then that medication from the epidural. So I threw up, basically. I threw up, and once I threw up, y'all, I started getting the shakes. Like Johnnie said, like I was acting like a crackhead, because I started having the shakes after I threw up. I was just like so jittery and jumpy, and my nurse said that it was normal. Like, most women do get like the jitters or the jumps or whatever when it's like getting close to labor, and that just means that she's like getting low and getting her head ready to come down the birth canal. And also, I forgot to mention this too, but as I was dilating, my cervix was getting open more, but Zia, like, she was not like putting her head down far enough for her to come down the birth canal. Because when the nurse did check me, she was like, yeah, your cervix is opening, but baby's head is not like low enough for her to like get in position to go ahead and come down the birth canal. So she got this peanut pillow, put it between my legs, and I kept switching from either side. It just to like keep my leg open to get her, like, you know, pushed down some more. And that peanut ball really helped, because I felt like all the pressure. Like, I didn't feel no pain because I had the epidural, but I felt literally all the pressure. Like, as her head was coming down, getting low, getting ready, I felt all that pressure, and it was just so uncomfortable. I'm shaking. Just, y'all, the time was there. Your girl was about to push. Your girl was about to be a mama. Your girl was about to have a broke best friend. So all of that happens, and hours go by. I guess like I'm still contracting, because I don't know if I'm contracting or when I'm having contractions, because I couldn't feel nothing because I had the epidural. So like, what, 3 hours go by, and it's like 10 something now. The doctor comes in and she's like, okay, I'm gonna check you one more time. So she checked me. I was fully at a 10. And she was like, I'm going to go back to my office and file these final papers, and I'm going to go ahead and get ready for labor. It looks like we're going to be having a baby soon. So she go and do that. She comes back, and Zia waited on her. She was like, oh, I like this baby already. She waited on me to file my paperwork and do everything I had to do in the office. So yeah, and it was time to push at this point. So this is the part where, like, I was like, wow, this is like what it really feels like. Got my legs open, pushing. Like, y'all, what y'all told me everything else, but y'all ain't tell me a bitch was gonna barely can breathe, like trying to push, because you have to like push, like you push for 10 seconds and then you go back, catch your breath, push for 10 seconds again. Like you're doing this every time the start of a contraction. So a contraction can last for like what, a minute. Sometimes it may last for even 30 seconds. It may last 2 minutes. So during the whole time you're having a contraction, you're literally pushing. You don't get no breath. Like I'm thinking I'm finna lean back after my 10 seconds and get like a whew, whew. It's literally like a 10 seconds whew, back in it, and you gotta hold your breath and push through your butt. Like but anyway, push for 32 minutes and then I had my baby. Oh my god, this is like me trying to fake cry because I don't know, I'm emotional, but it's like hard for me to cry like on camera in front of people. I'm like one of them silent criers. I go cry in the bathroom, I go cry in the shower. Like the only people I'm comfortable crying around is probably Johnnie, my mom, probably a few friends, because they probably just seen me cry because I'm just emotional as hell. But yeah, so I have her, and y'all, like literally that was like the best moment ever. They laid her on me and I'm like, oh my god, it's a baby. Like I feel a baby. Like that's literally something like I always think about to this day, because that's just such a, like, it's an emotional, unconditional, it's like you, I don't know, like that feeling, just, it's a different type of love. Like y'all, I'm telling y'all, it's like a pure real love. Like it's like your child. Like it's something you can't even imagine. I don't know, y'all, that's just some magical shit right there. Like it was so magical. Like my doctor, or the doctor, putting Zia on me, that was just, I don't know, that was just something so lovely. This is the part that kind of like frightened me a little bit though, because they put Zia on me and she's like crying, but her cry is not like a you know how some babies like come out crying. Zia came out with her eyes open, looking around, but she was just like, she had like a real low cry. It was like yeah, and everybody thought it was cool, but one nurse, like, she just kept watching me and she kept watching Zia, and she was like telling the other nurses, she was like, her cry is too low. Like, why is her cry that low? So the nurses look at Zia and they just instantly come grab her off of me and put her over in like the little area where they like wipe off the baby, wash the baby, do the footprints, all that. They grab her and instantly put her over there. So I'm looking over there, but then I also got to focus over here because I'm like, it's a lot going on at one time. My leg's still open, I'm getting stitches, which I did tear a little, but I tore on the inside and I had to get a few stitches. So I'm getting stitches, getting washed off, getting all of this stuff handled, but then I'm also over here looking because my baby, I guess like she couldn't breathe. So basically what they were saying is that she had swallowed a lot of the amniotic fluid on her way out. So what I'm thinking is, I don't got no fluid because he in there drinking it all. Just like, but really that's really what happened. Like on her way out, she had gulped a lot of the amniotic fluid. And she also pooped on her way out as well, but she had a lot of the amniotic fluid on the inside of her lungs and stuff. So they had to pump all of it out, put tubes down her throat, pump all of it out. Y'all, that was so freaking scary. Like literally, that made me so scared. But I didn't cry though, because they made it seem like they had it all together. Like if anything, they literally made us so comfortable. The nurses that came in with the doctor, like her team or whatever, they made us feel so comfortable. They was like, she's gonna be okay, we just gotta get her right, she's gonna be okay, we're getting it all out. Like they were just pumping it out, and I could tell like she, like the more it came out of her, the louder she would get, and it made me feel better. But then they also told us as they were doing that she would have to go to the Nicu for a little while because she wasn't breathing on her own. Like she was depending on the breathing machine a little more than like herself, like just breathing on her own. So they was like, oh, she may have to go to the Nicu for a little while. So they're just still over there putting the breathing thing on her, making sure she's okay. And then they took it off, and then they seen that she was starting to breathe a little bit on her own, so they put it back on her. And then as the NICU people come in to like put her inside of the little bassinet that they have specifically for the NICU with the lights and stuff, they're like, oh no, I think she'll be okay. I think she's doing fairly well breathing on her own, so I think she's gonna be okay. So that made us feel better as well. So Zia didn't have to go to the NICU. But yeah, so once they said that, they began to do her footprints. They did her weight, and my baby was 8 pounds 11 ounces and 21 inches. A long baby, a big baby. Yeah, so she ended up being perfectly fine. And after all of that, I just held her, and all of the nurses leave, and they like feel so surreal because it's like, oh my god, now you really have a baby. Like, oh my god. They swaddled her, she was just looking so cute. They put her little ointment in her eyes. They gave her few shots, y'all. We just bonding with baby at this point. All the nurses are gone, the doctor is gone. Only nurse that was in there was the nurse that I actually had, my night nurse, and she was just helping me, pressing down on my stomach to get all of the excess fluid out. She helped me change the little pad things. Yeah, and that was just basically that. After that, we got prepared. I put on a new gown, all of that stuff, changed the pad, well, got a pad and put that on, all of that stuff with the big underwear. And we got wheeled down to postpartum, to our postpartum room, and have a video on my channel for what happened once we got to postpartum. But yeah, y'all, that's my labor and delivery story. Really crazy, like really a lot of ups and downs, because the scare from me almost having to have a C-section, the scare from me having dry labor, the scare from me with Zia not breathing that well on her own when she came out. Like, y'all, it was like a lot of things that went down. But we have a healthy baby, and she's doing well now. She's 5 weeks, almost 6 weeks, almost 2 months. Like, she's getting so big. I'm so dramatic. But yeah, y'all, it's my labor and delivery story time. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Also, comment down below, excuse me, some video ideas. It can literally be anything. It can be some pranks, it can be some challenges for me and Johnnie to do, or even with my little sister and little brother, because I'm going to start including them more in my channel, because they do live with me, if you guys don't know. But now you know. Yeah, I'm gonna start including them. And my little brother is really into YouTube. Like, I'm actually gonna start letting him vlog a little bit and letting him add his own little segment into the vlog. It's gonna be cool. It's some lit things coming up for my channel. Like, I'm really trying to make my channel grow, and I'm really trying to invest more time in my channel so I can just have a really good channel and good content for people to watch and want to continue watching. So yeah, enough of me rambling now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next one. Peace. Mwah.